Hey, what's up guys, Benny here and welcome to Xbox On. Now, while we're all huge fans of massive AAA games here on the channel, we also like to try and explore the weirder side of Xbox gaming. We've been taking a look for some hidden gems coming soon to Xbox One, so here are the 7 best games of 2017 that you are yet to hear about. The sexy Bootau has to be one of the strangest games we've played in a long time. It's set inside a gothic casino during one day where all the guests are getting killed off one by one. Your character is trapped in a time loop, a bit like Groundhog Day, and has to use this ability to try and save the lives of the other guests. In motion, it plays a bit like Hitman in reverse. You explore the casino, spying on the other characters and their murderers, waiting for an ideal moment to step in to prevent the killing from taking place. For example, in the short section we played, we watched a man get repeatedly shot in the chest by a masked man with a shotgun. By returning back to the beginning of the time loop, we were able to find the shotgun before the killer could even pick it up and tamper with it so that it wouldn't kill the victim. What makes it work really well is that the looping day is only 9 minutes of real time, so you don't have to wait for ages to try a new solution to each killing. As the game unwinds, you'll be able to move more freely through the loop and will also pick up new powers to help save those lives you weren't able to previously. It's a really cool take on a classic adventure game, and we can't wait to play more when it launches on April 11th. In the gloomy early months of the year, Rime looks like the perfect summer holiday. It plops you in an amazing island world where the sea is a perfect shade of blue and the sun beats down on the strange rocky structures. If we could dive into a screenshot to take a break, we'd definitely pick Rime. Of course, the game itself isn't about rest and relaxation. You're making your way across this mysterious island, clambering around the rocks and carrying items to power up ancient machines. The platforming reminds us of classic Tomb Raider as you look up at huge buildings and try to work out how the hell you're going to find a route between handholds and platforms. In the game's more puzzling side, there's a definite hint of last year's The Witness. Like that game, Rime offers very little guidance. In our demo, we were dumped into the wilderness and expected to work out what to do from visual clues in the world around us. You might be drawn to a location by glowing statues, or notice that chunks of the environment line up to create a new doorway. It just leaves you to have your own adventure and means you feel incredibly smart when you work it out for yourself. The game was first seen way back in 2013, so it's been in development for a very long time. But everything we've seen is telling us that this is well worth the wait. If your fingers like old school shooters and your ears like thumping bass, then you have to check out Aero. It's a sci-fi shooter where you fly down corridors full of obstacles, blasting away any robot creature dumb enough to aim its sights at you. What makes this really compelling is the way the action connects to the music. For most of the levels, you have to steer your ship along ribbons of light, which bend, curve, and shift to match the music. Think of doing one of those steady hand buzzer mazes, only you're also having to move at 100 miles an hour at the same time. The closer you follow the line, the clearer the soundtrack becomes, meaning that the better you play, the better the whole thing sounds. It's really satisfying. There are also enemies to take care of. You have to paint targets onto enemies and projectiles before firing a load of missiles all at once. This mechanic reminds us of Rez or Panzer Dragon and will definitely appeal to fans of arcade shooters. Where things get really complicated is when Aero combines all its ideas at once. Trying to steer along a line of light with one analog stick while aiming at attackers with the other is super intense, especially with that pounding music in the background. You're going to need nerves of steel to survive Aero on its hardest difficulty, so start mentally preparing yourself for when the game releases on April 11th. If you played Fulbright Company's Gone Home but found its house setting a little too down to earth, then their next game may interest you. It's set on the Tacoma space station, asking you to explore and piece together clues about what happened to the now missing crew. The setting is instantly more gripping for me than an everyday house, with the ability to move around in zero gravity, meaning that clues to the story could be found floating all around you. You can even enjoy a game of zero-G basketball, which I'm pretty sure is a video game first. On top of this, you have the ability to watch holographic recordings of the crew. Not only can you listen to their chat to piece together what happened on the ship, but you can rewind them and walk around the scene to find out what was happening to other characters at the same time. The idea of untangling one large scene into lots of story threads is really well handled, with even our short time with the demo giving us loads of mysterious things we want to know more about. Is it going to turn out to be a case of alien chest bursters or something even more sinister? I can't wait to find find out later this year. At first glance, Songbringer reminded us of last year's excellent Hyper Light Drifter. It's another 2D dungeon crawler made with an ultra retro pixel style and featuring a harsh challenge that'll chew up any adventurer who tries to rush their way through. But what's really cool is the way that the world is built. At the start of the game, you type in a 6-letter word, let's say Xbox On for example, which acts as the seed for the world. Everything you see, the overworld, the dungeon layouts, the item placement, are generated out of that one word. For starters, this means that the game features as many single-player campaigns as there are 6-letter words. If you manage to fight and puzzle your way through one game, you can flip open the dictionary and generate a whole new game. But you'll also be able to share worlds by sharing words. The same world will grow out of the same word every single time. Maybe you'll find a particular difficult run of dungeons that you want to share with the community, or maybe you find a word that makes a world ideal for speedrunning. You just take the word, share it, and everyone is good to go. Amazingly, the whole thing is built by just one guy, which makes us feel very stupid indeed, but you know, maybe stupid will be our first 6-letter word, but I can't wait to see what it does when Songbringer arrives later this summer. This next game was not one we expected to get into. As the title suggests, The Hunter is an open world hunting simulator. We've never been into hunting games that much. We prefer to shoot at an enemy who shoots back, but Expansive World's take on the hobby is very impressive stuff. It's set in a vast natural sandbox which is amazing to look at and really atmospheric. If you stand still, you can see the wind blowing through the forest and take in some amazing lighting and weather effects. Of course, all that natural beauty is just there to distract you from the task of smacking a deer between the eyes, but it makes for an incredibly immersive experience. If you wanted to, I think you could just put the gun aside and just enjoy a walk in the countryside. Should you want to take a prize home with you, however, you'll need to be very sneaky, making sure to use cover while you track your prey, maybe building camouflage towers to help get the drop on the nervous animal AI. It's rare to see a hunting game with this level of ambition, so it's one to set your sights on in 2017. Fable Fortune is a collectible card game set in the Fable universe. This means all the cards you're collecting feature the comedy fantasy style of the legendary RPG series, but it also factors into play an interesting take on morality. At the beginning of a match, you select a side quest to pursue while you're playing. This might be spending a certain amount of gold or placing units who have more strength and health. Complete the goal and you get a chance to pick between a good or evil reward. An upgrade that might power up one of your character abilities or improve one of your unit cards. Not only does this tie nicely into the classic decisions that you had to make in the original Fable games, but it also means that your deck of cards can evolve in new ways during the match. Unlike some other CCG games where certain deck combinations will always force a particular outcome, it is far harder to predict how things will play out in these games. As you may know if you regularly watch Xbox On, we are big fans of online card games. When Fable Fortune managed to tear some of the team away from their precious Gwent, aka our producer Matt, we knew we were in for something special. Make sure to keep an eye out for this one in the coming months. So those were 7 hidden games from 2017, and there are a lot more of those to come. Let us know in the comments if there are any great upcoming games you think people might be missing out on, and make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel for even more great Xbox content. I'm going to duck out for another round of Fable Fortunes now, but we'll see you again soon.